Ladies and gentlemen, get ready because some very interesting thing is about to happen tomorrow, and you guys don't want to miss it. At the same time though, crypto never sleeps, and so there have been some new announcements that are making me feel quite bullish, But in the back end of things, I'd say the fundamentals of why I'm so excited about crypto are rooted in bad things. It's funny, but very much true. And now before we move on, if you've not pressed that like button yet, would you if I were to do a backflip right now? Well, I can't, but I can give you guys some news. So first of all, and I'd say this is most interesting, is Fed Chair Jerome Powell's speech tomorrow. Especially because this is the December decisions. This is the end of the year. And obviously, as we know in finance, a lot is based upon the Federal Reserve. And so to hear the chairman of the Federal Reserve speak, I'd say is always worth it. Very often it brings with itself some volatility, so do be on the lookout for that. But I'd say we've got ourselves more exciting news. This is just important because it's happening in a few hours. I want you guys to be prepared, especially my traders out there. Because if you've got yourself the right opportunity and you are adequately prepared, it could just be a massive, massive trade. Profitable one at that. However, now that we're on the topic of extremely profitable trades, I want every single person who told me that we're not in a bull market, that we shouldn't be buying the dip, to apologize. Not to me, because I don't really care, but to yourself for not believing the facts. I posted today over on Twitter a little flashback from August where a dip came in, and I noticed some people were saying, hey, it's all going to be coming down lower, especially because I made a video that day talking about the dip. And it's kind of funny to me how many people were negative back then, but Bitcoin was only 26, Ethereum only 1,600, XRP only 48 cents, Solana only $20. Yeah, things have done very, very well in the meantime. And that's why I always like to stack up the dip. And well, Michael Saylor, he was laughed at a couple of months ago because he was that significantly underwater. But they've been buying a lot. And take a look at their most recent announcement, which just came out. Microstrategy has acquired an additional 16.1 thousand Bitcoin for roughly $600 million at an average price now of about $37,000 per Bitcoin. As of the 28th of November 2023, MicroStrategy now holds 175,000 Bitcoin, acquired for $5.3 billion at an average price of about $30,000 per Bitcoin, meaning right now they're in significant amounts of profit. And I'd say the funniest part about it is the shift in people's attitude. When you're doing bad, people are like, you see, that strategy doesn't work. And when you're doing good, they're thinking, oh, if only I had enough money like them. And it's always so interesting to me. A similar concept is when people look at guys like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos with all their wealth, and I keep saying, it's significantly more difficult to get those amounts of wealth, not only based on the idea that you've got to spearhead and build a multi-billion-dollar company, but you got to understand that most people would have sold a long time ago. Let's say you start a business now, and all of a sudden, you tomorrow or soon get a valuation for your business of $1 billion, and you had all the stocks. You could now sell it for an actual billion. Are you then able to hold on to that until it's $50 billion? A lot of people would just sell and be over with it, which is why you've got a lot of people in that low billionaire or hundreds of billions of dollar range because they just don't care anymore. This also made me realize yet again how significant the Bitcoin halving is going to be, as indeed it showcases Bitcoin's inflation, but most importantly the quote-unquote long-term deflation, because you've got to understand there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, and the speed at which the Bitcoin supply increases is going to slow down significantly. But also more and more Bitcoin are going to be lost, never to be returned forever. And the amount of people who want it will keep increasing, meaning there's a ever decreasing chance you will be able to hold 1 or even for that matter 0.1 Bitcoin, which is why I always tell people, it's not that bad to stack up some Bitcoin. It's just not the best way to build wealth if you're starting at zero. Then I'd recommend going for some crazier altcoins. I've been sharing a lot of them over on Twitter, and I'll be making a video soon talking about my top altcoins. But you gotta understand the system is changing. The reason we are so excited about crypto is because the way in which things are working right now, and you'll kind of hear it tomorrow in the speech again, the whole economy is screwed, guys. But the way it's working right now, it just can't continue. Anybody saying it can, anybody saying it will be saved. Why do you think these guys are going after crypto so hard? I personally believe it's because they do not want crypto to pop off yet. If they were to make rules, people could work around the rules and get things popping and going. But no, they want to make sure that the only thing you can go for is a CBDC, but it's not ready yet. They'd prefer if it wasn't crypto taking over cash, but their own CBDC. At the end of the day though, they only have got little time. The SEC keeps losing case after case. And more players are understanding that the next big assets all these funds, all these institutional investors, and all the guys want to go for is cryptocurrencies. Even Pando Assets AG officially filed for their own Bitcoin spot ETF with the SEC. And here's something else that I think was kind of funny. Apparently the US Treasury is lobbying for more authority in crypto crackdown. The US Treasury proposes a set of common sense recommendations to expand its authority and tools in crypto crackdown. The US Treasury has asked for more authority in crypto crackdown. The Treasury asked for new enforcement tools, and the department has also requested Congress to revise the old statutory definitions. And while I was looking into all that lobbying, I also found out that apparently Binance expanded their investments in lobbying just before their guilty plea, which is kind of funny. Apparently Binance and Binance US spent more than $1 million lobbying in 2023, and I wouldn't say it increased significantly this year, depending on whether or not they're still going to spend a lot in Q4, as obviously this is only Q3, Q4 still has to be added to it. And so it could be the total is going to be 1.5 million, 50% more than last year. But perhaps after this guilty plea, they're kind of done for a bit. I don't know. Apparently, a lot of exchanges are spending crazy amounts of money, though. Coinbase spending 2.1 million, Kraken about 888,000. In total, 56 companies have spent more than $20 million on lobbying for crypto in the US, with Coinbase leading and just 10 companies contributing more than half of crypto's total resources towards influence on government officials. Which is crazy, though, that this is also all happening behind the scenes. That lobbying is a legal thing is also kind of weird. A couple interesting things to note, by the way. If you've got BUSD on Binance, you might want to get rid of it as they're ending the support very soon, in about 2 weeks from now. It's just a little warning to everybody still holding BUSD. I do believe they're just going to transfer to FDUSD themselves. If you haven't done it by the time, I think that says it right here. You guys can't perfectly see. There we go. But you might just want to beat the curve and do it yourself. Do you guys remember me covering a little bit ago that some guy paid a couple $1 million for one Bitcoin transaction? Apparently Antminer, right? The guys that mined this block, they got themselves a juicy reward of 85 Bitcoin basically, or 𝗬𝗏 I should call it. They want to apparently give the person his money back because apparently it was hacked, yada, yada, yada. And somebody tweeted out that his wallet was hacked. So they're happy to refund him if he replies for the next 2 weeks. And that's really interesting that something like this can happen in crypto. You get $3 million by accident or by a hack, you just give it back. And that brings up a very interesting, there we go, ethical question. Let's say you were sent $1 million worth of crypto by somebody random. You don't know where it came from. Would you send it back or keep it? Maybe don't comment it down below, because maybe what if eventually the feds are going to come after you because, you got yourself $1 million. Maybe it's smart not to say anything right now. But it is an interesting question, right? Because crypto is push only, meaning if somebody makes a mistake and pushes $500 million into your account, they can never get it back unless you decide to give it back. But will you? Should you? Because at the end of the day, they sent it to you, but it was a mistake. So, and I mean, if you're in the US, you're going to have to declare taxes on that if you take it, which it all brings up an interesting point of ethics, but also the flaws that we've still got in crypto. And talking about flaws, we saw recently that KyberSwap was exploited, right? For about $50 million. And it's really interesting, but basically to give the money back, he wants to take control over KyberSwap, which I do believe is pretty wild. And if they're not met by December 10th, the hacker will not give the money back. If you want to fully read the note, here you go. You can see he wants complete executive control over Kyber, the company, temporary full authority and ownership of the governance mechanism, the DAO, in order to enact legislative changes, all documents and information related to company, protocol formation, yada, 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 and surrender all of KyberSwap's assets, actually all of Kyber's assets, on and off chain, basically getting everything, including passwords. And apparently he will do some good things for the people. At the bottom, you can see he calls himself Kyber Director, which is ironic because at the end of the day, he's saying that he wants to make Kyber a very good place. But I'm thinking, how is he going to get all the assets, like the equity, etc., if he's not giving out his full legal name. Then again, on the opposite side, you can call this bribery, or you can just call this a very crypto-like proposition, where you've basically screwed up. Hey, you goofed up yourself, Kyber. Your money is gone now, but you can get it back if you give up on your company. But at least then you can make the people happy. But do you want to do that? It kind of depends, I guess, on how much money they've got. But it's also nearly impossible to know whether or not this person will really send you the funds. To which you can bring up again, if the hacker takes control over everything, how much money is still locked inside this system, where he wouldn't have more benefit from the equity and from whatever's inside of Kyber than the money that he stole. And wouldn't a 10% bounty or something like that, $5 million be enough to just be done with it? I guess maybe he's just a gamer in the sense that he likes to play the game and doesn't really care about the money too much, because obviously this is just a troll. Kyber is not going to accept this. It wouldn't make sense. But the sad part about it is, even though he's pretty funny with the way he tweets, right? Or the way he puts up a message, it's sad that people lost their life savings. It's sad that people really thought they could make a new beginning in DeFi and now lost it all. Because the translation here is, he's not going to accept the equity because it would need his government name. So he's just making a joke. And so since they can't follow his demands, well, he's not going to return the money. Or he's just trolling them and eventually he'll return the money. Or he's just waiting for a better offer, But this is pretty evil. And this is by far the craziest and funniest in that sense, even though it's pretty dark, negotiation for a crypto hack that I've ever seen. And if you're really a crypto person, or specifically a crypto Twitter person, this is like the most typical my lady behavior. If you know, you know. And one piece I thought I covered in a previous video, maybe I did, maybe I didn't, because I posted this 18 hours ago. I think I recorded a video afterwards. Anyway, FTX approved to start selling $750 million worth of Grayscale assets. Interesting how FTT pumped straight afterwards. And it's interesting to note as well that FTX might actually relaunch their exchange. And I kind of wonder what type of effect this is going to have, but I don't know how much is in which token of these sales. We do know that at the same time, Celsius is also opening up withdrawals for people, only for a couple of weeks though, but it is nice. So if you were owed money by Celsius, make sure you do check that out as well. And I think that's it for right now. Yeah, I do believe so. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you go ahead and press that like button. You've got nothing to lose. And I'll keep you up to date with another crypto update, most likely very soon. So yeah, hopefully you've got that notification bell on, and I'm rooting for you guys.